Live and in real living color, coming at you faster than Corey Perry running to Bedard's mom's bedroom. It is My Brother's an Idiot. Oh, would you prefer faster than uh, faster than a particular basketball player running to a high school prom? You want that one instead?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Welcome to My Brothers and Idiots, the podcast where we are scrambling today. Yes, we are doing double duty and we'll be absolutely going nerds right after this. So stick around if you're watching us live on our Facebook and Twitch, because we're going to do that right after this. Let me first kick you around the squad. Tank, holding down the fort in Extreme Southern Command. He is. Why am I holding? What is happening? What? Jesus Christ. You guys just fucking introduce yourselves. I've got nothing. I've got fucking nothing. Absolutely the fuck nothing. Tank, what's up?
Not much. It was a good week. Nice holiday. Cold ass game. It was fun though. That's about it.
Okay, good. Next, I summon the idiot who we've named the podcast after. Goon.
Once more with feeling, please.
Goon.
Not feeling it yet.
That's all you're gonna get. Okay, we're just gonna go into the agenda because
I'm here.
there you go. There.
I made delicious burgers. Look at these things. They're fucking delicious.
Not playing this fucking game with you two morons today.
But how is that different from every other week? You play the game.
Not that game. I'm not playing that game. But you guys typing shit that no one else can see.
It says hold a bunch.
Yeah, right.
Hold!
Before we do get into the agenda, we do have a special announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, goons of all ages, we are number one.
Oh, yeah.
We are number one to 7 people in Spotify. We're in the top 5 for like 10 people. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
I think we are officially now a niche. I think we're a niche podcast because if we have 7 dedicated listeners who are their favorite podcast, we're a niche.
You know, it's not me because I'm not on Spotify. It's
well,
you're on it, but your views don't count. I don't think it's Tank listening to himself.
Generally, no.
No, that's
Michaela's not listening to this shit.
right.
My wife gets enough of my voice, so she doesn't need to hear it.
I mean,
so there are people outside the circle.
I know there are people who I know for a fact listen to us. Dan from Odyssey Brewing likes to listen to us while he's driving around delivering beer. I do know that much. So there's probably one of the 7.
Love me some Danny boy.
There we go. All right. Fellas, how we doing?
Good, man. Good, really good. You know, had back off of the holiday. Had a really good holiday. You traveled. It sounded like it was a pretty good time. I know Tank had kind of a quiet holiday too, which, you know, is always nice. But we're back at it, and we had a really good week this weekend in some stuff.
We had a lot of stuff. Yes, a lot of stuff. And let's get it.
Audio super low for some reason.
Better now.
That's better.
All right.
And you're not in a cave anymore, so that's good.
Yeah.
Somehow between pushing the button and going live, you went to computer audio, which is awesome. I love technology.
That happened to you last week, if I remember right.
It did. I'm not sure.
A couple weeks ago. No.
It happened to you last week, Matt.
Yeah, it was either last week or the week before something happened.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your mic's not on anymore. Oh, good. Magical. Well, we've got a lot to get through and not a lot of time to do it. So we're not freaking recording for 4.5 hours. So let's get right after it. Fellas, don't look now, but Denver is now squarely in the playoff race at 6-5. The Broncos, by virtue of their ass kicking of the Cleveland Browns. Yes, Mark.
I was just, yay. That's a
Oh, that was a yay. I thought you were going to say
it's a
something.
rock fist.
Woo!
Rock fist.
Yeah. You got to do it down here. It's like this. Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
this.
It's
Rock
metal.
fist.
Yeah.
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 Not Ronnie James Dio. Rock fist.
No. Rock fist.
Not to say there's
So
anything
Denver
wrong
with
with
an ass kicking of the hapless Browns managed to wipe the floor with them in a 2-score game, which by any stretch of the imagination is an ass kicking. Tank, I know you were at the game. What did you see?
That first half was a little closer. There was a lot of weird calls in that game, to be honest. But yeah, it looks like Denver kind of stuck with their game plan, which is we're going to run it all the time and then throw it when we have to. And that they made plays happen. They got more turnovers again. That seems to be a key to this team is they play good enough on defense to hold you to as little points as possible.
I don't know if that's good enough or if that's great enough. That's the way I'm looking at it. This defense is stifling. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah. I made a comment that got sandbagged pretty hard in the chat while we were watching the game, but after watching the flag that PJ Locke took, I'm starting to think that they're after the head coach a little bit. And so the refereeing is shaky.
Did PJ take a flag for that?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I thought that was a holding. I thought that was a holding call. Are you talking about the hit on Cooper?
Yes. No, I'm talking about the hit on DT.
And Njoku.
Well,
the hit on Njoku. Yeah, Browning took the flag for the hit on DT.
oh
he
yeah,
did.
that's right. Yeah.
Which was also bullshit.
But PJ Locke took one or
Yes.
gave one out, and it was not as well. There were a couple
Right.
really questionable, which makes me think that the NFL may be punishing Sean Payton still for Bountygate, which is interesting.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case or if because Denver is playing much more physically than most other teams, it's standing out more. And because of Kareem Jackson having done what he did in not casting any aspersions on his style of play at this point. But I think that there's a track record there and the NFL is looking at it a little bit more closely.
Well, that one against Browning was completely a response flag to a dickhead getting injured.
Oh God, it was so late.
Yeah, it was
so
so
late.
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 It was only because he didn't get right back up,
Yeah,
Right. Well, he got knocked.
he got knocked
right.
the fuck out. Yeah,
bleeding from the face and shit.
Yeah.
which that was a chest hit. So,
Oh, it was perfect. It was right in front of us. We're like, oh wow, that's awesome. I mean, it was chest to chest. Didn't even come anywhere near the head. He just happened to fall backwards. And I mean, what are you supposed to do when you're a defensive player and you're playing full speed and you're right there? It's not like he hit him late.
no, he was chasing him.
He just hit him hard.
Yeah.
And watching the Monday night game, there were a couple of questionable hits that could have been flagged but weren't. So Mark may have a point in that it's definitely being looked at a little bit more closely. I don't know if it goes back as far as Bountygate. It could be, right? Who knows? But
I don't know. Weird grudges.
Indeed. So Tank brought it up. They're running the ball effectively, throwing when they have to. The last 4 games before this one, it was really up to Russ at the end to let him do his thing. It's a conservative game plan with a very physical defense. They're out physicaling teams, I think, here, guys. And that's not a formula we've seen be successful the last few years to any great extent, but it seems to be working really well, right, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, they tried it one way that they thought was going to work, and they have slowly evolved into what they are now. And that's basically Russell Wilson circa, 2015. And they're keeping his yards to under 250 almost every single game. And, keeping his mistakes to an absolute minimum by, eliminating his need for more than 3 options and running the ball effectively. The one thing that I think we can all agree on, though, about this offense, Ben Powers is still trash.
Oh shit! He missed so many blocks again. It was bad.
He is so bad.
I watched him fall on his face like 4 different times on the big screen during that game, and I was like, "Good God, dude, come on.
Adam Troutman is awful. Oh my God, that guy is just ridiculously bad.
That's
He's
'cause
either
a
in the
left
wrong
tackle
place.
playing tight end.
He's either in the wrong place or he's getting knocked on his ass on almost every fucking play.
He's
So,
also slow and
yeah.
and okay receiver.
Well, you say that, but he made probably one of the top 10 catches of the year with the butt slide. I mean,
They got lucky with that one.
Yeah.
how is that lucky? How is that lucky?
I mean,
he made the play.
Well, a couple inches the other way, he's out. I mean, it's
Sure.
He made the catch easy and then got lucky that he happened to be in bounds. You know, it's not something he did. You know, he didn't know where he was in the field.
It worked.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying that. Don't put that as
worked.
Adam Troutman being fucking OBJ.
I didn't say he was.
It's not like touching his toe on the sideline and fucking
Yeah.
practicing tip drills and shit
And
like
it's
that.
not
Let's not
like
make
the
it out
guy-
to be that.
It's not like the guy gets a ton of reps receiving the football either. And when he does finally get one, he makes that catch. So
He caught the ball while sitting and got a touchdown because of it.
I think the impressive nature of the catch was incidental.
100%. 100%. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a terrible blocker.
yeah, and speaking of blocking, I think it's worth pointing out that Garrett Bowles played the game of his life against Miles. I mean, that was an ass whooping by a left tackle that we haven't seen around here in a long time.
He was hurt, Myles Garrett, in the second half, and that had a lot to do with his ineffectiveness. But you're right, Garrett Bowles was really good in the first half against him, but then he stopped being able to use his left arm entirely, and so he became just an ineffective player on the field. I'm not even sure why he was playing still, but it looked bad. Like almost every play, he was just standing there, just letting Bowles just demolish him because he's just like, I can't do anything with this whole thing. It was clearly in a lot of pain.
That was obvious.
While he did not, I don't believe he give up a sack. Cush also had a kind of a rough day.
Cush
in the
didn't
middle.
look great.
Yeah, he got ran over a few times.
And he had that false start because he fucking did the whole
Entirely moved the ball, yes.
Yeah,
It happens, but you know,
that happens.
when you're already having a bad game, it's just like
Right.
piling on.
But that seemed more like he wasn't fully prepared for the rush that it was going to come his way by that defense. And it was obvious he also had to pick up some of Ben Powers' slack.
Weird.
So,
Weird. I've been talking about that all season now. Ben Powers is just affecting everybody else negatively around him.
Yeah, like he definitely had to take on a couple double teams that he wasn't ready for, it seemed like. So,
Yeah.
that's how it goes, I guess.
Yep. Well, then let's talk about. We talked a little bit about the game plan, and I think we've kind of scratched the surface on this a little bit. It seems like, Tank, we'll start with you, that this team finally has an identity, and a team that has an identity can actually play winning football.
Yeah, I mean the identity is old school as shit. It's smash mouth football.
Man, I love it.
It's like we are going to hammer you over and over again and make you quit on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
And get flagged for it repeatedly on defense. But yeah, it is definitely that old school smash mouth type of football on both sides.
Mark?
Yeah, I agree. Really physical on both sides of the ball. Special teams is still hit or miss at best. But it's a winning formula. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. We'll be talking about that in a minute.
Well, let's get into that because we've got a very critical game coming up in the playoff race. If the season were to end today, the Colts, the Broncos, and the Texans are all tied. But the Colts get the playoff spot because they have a better conference record and they have the head-to-head against the Texans. So the Colts get the win there, if, again, the hypothetical season ending today. All three teams have the same record at 6-5. So you've got Denver and the Texans playing on Sunday in Houston. big game with playoff implications. Mark, how do you see this one going?
I'm not going to give a pick on this one yet, but I just don't see Denver getting away from what they've been doing, and they're going to confuse the shit out of a rookie quarterback, and it's going to be a really good game.
Tank?
Yeah, I kind of think that who the hell would have thought that at the beginning of the season, or even through the first 4 games, that a playoff contention game between the Texans and Broncos. That doesn't even make sense.
Nobody
Yeah.
saw that because the Texans over-under going into the season was the same as CU's at 3.5, and Denver's was at 8.5.
And not a good 8.5 either.
No. only because of some of the jabronis they got on the schedule the second half of the season, right?
One of those being the Texans.
One of those being the Texans, right? And nobody saw this coming. So it's going to be a really good game. I agree with Mark. I think it's going to be very rough and tumble. Vance is going to go digging deep into his basket of tricks and throw some things at the rookie he may not have seen yet, which should be pretty fun. I'm excited to watch the kid play. I haven't actually watched a full Houston Texans game all year because honestly,
D'Amico's a hell of a coach already.
D'Amico's
a hell of a coach.
Yep.
Situationally, he's. I watched most of the game this last week, and D'Amico's a hell of a coach.
Yep, I will absolutely agree with that. And he was definitely high on Denver's list, but there wasn't any way he was going anywhere but Houston. I think that was the perfect move for him. He's galvanized that locker room. They're playing complementary football, and all credit to the kid. CJ Stroud's been playing out of his mind.
And that's going to be an interesting matchup this week with the kind of out of nowhere Tank Dell becoming kind of a superstar with that team going against Surtain. Should be interesting to see if he can get loose like he has with a lot of other teams.
I don't necessarily think that's going to be a thing. I mean, the earth is covered 78% by water, and the other 22% is covered by Pat Surtain. He's playing really good football right now, guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And then looking at the schedule the rest of the way, you've got the Chargers twice, the Lions, the Pats, and the Raiders and I'm not asking for any specific predictions here. I have this tentatively penciled in at 4-2 going the rest of the way, looking at things the way they are with a couple of challenging games ahead. And if it's 4-2, I think it's playoffs, guys. What do you think? We'll start with you, Mark.
Yeah. I don't know if I see 2 losses on the schedule. Maybe 1 to the Chargers, but there's definitely going to be 1 to the Lions, but I don't see another loss really. Just the way it's going. I don't know. I don't see a second loss, but they could lose to the Chargers somewhere. They're not going to lose to the Raiders. They're not going to lose to the Patriots. I don't think they're going to lose to Houston this weekend. So they control their own destiny at this point and will probably make the playoffs.
Okay.
I see the potential for 2. I think that Lions game is going to be kind of rough, but honestly, what happened with the Lions recently, that's a team that we can actually kind of take on at this point. And then I think a fluke loss to the Chargers is not out of the question because it seems to happen pretty consistently.
Well, you got 2 home games against them coming up, so pick one of them.
Yeah. I think the home game in LA is going to potentially be a weird one.
Yeah, and the funny thing is what happens if the Chargers continue to charger before we get to the second to the last game of the season and they finally just pull the plug and you get that weird interim head coach bump that seems to happen to a lot of teams when the shitty head coach is gone and all of a sudden they're playing out of their minds. That's a very real possibility here.
That's why you got to beat Houston this week. That way it doesn't come down to that.
Yep. Right? That is a key thing. They have to win. Like you said, they have to win 4. I think they have to get 4 to get the playoff spot because they're the teams from 5 to 10 are basically the same. They're all in that same exact record category where one loss is going to make a huge difference.
I think you're absolutely right. And you brought it up, Tank. I think the Lions are eminently beatable. They have not looked good for 2 straight games. They started the game, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, looking like absolute trash, and then shit the bed on Thursday. I was texting my neighbor 2 doors down who's from Michigan, and after the game was over, I'm like, "Bud, are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, we needed a slap in the face." I'm like, "That was not quite a slap in the face. That was a team that lost to a worse team. That was awful."
No, yeah, that was Green Bay's defense.
Yeah. That was a punch in the dick.
Yeah.
Green Bay's defense just run roughshod on that offense for basically the entire game.
That was a dick chuck.
Yeah.
A dick chuck?
A dick chuck?
We were talking about Charles Dickens earlier, and I started calling him Chuck Dick.
Awesome.
So it was a dick chuck. I thought it was funny.
Sure.
Chuck.
Let's move on to other news and notes in the NFL. Frank Reich of the Carolina Panthers has earned the distinction of being the first head coach ever to be fired in consecutive seasons in his first year.
I think this is massively undeserved, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Dave Tepper's trash.
They saddled him with the quarterback that he didn't actually want.
Yeah.
And then expected him to figure it out with that just god-awful offense that they had.
The only good player they had last year, they traded away very early in the year, and they didn't get any better on offense.
No, they're terrible. That offense is awful. So I don't know what they were expecting, but this is kind of exactly what I saw coming. I figured he had at least 2 years to make something happen.
Yeah, I thought for sure he'd get at least a full season and a half.
He must have ran some shit on Bryce, and they just got pissed and got tired of it and just said, fuck it, all right, get rid of him.
Think he slept with Bryce's mom?
No, I think
Bryce's mom has got it going on.
Draft pick. Why'd you guys give me this fucking quarterback? I wanted the kid in Houston.
Well, and Frank didn't really run an offense tailored to Bryce's talents. He's trying to put him into a pro offense, and they got rid of the OC, they got rid of the quarterback's coach. So there might be something there to this here, guys. I think I agree that it's probably a little bit too soon, unless it was just so egregious inside the office in terms of his relationship with everybody else. So they just said, fuck it, you're out of here. But he also didn't do the things I think he needed to do to make Bryce Young successful. So it's going to be interesting to see what this offense looks like in the next, 5-6 weeks, if they can do anything even close to having some success. I mean, you have a couple
It's not going to be interesting. Are you really going to watch a Carolina Panthers game to see how Bryce Young is doing? It's not going to be interesting.
I'm not going to watch any Carolina Panthers games.
Then it's not interesting.
Well, I'm not going to watch it because if I'm not watching the Broncos, I'm watching Red Zone. So that's a thing.
It's just not an interesting. There's nothing of interest in Carolina to me.
Oh yeah, there is. Actually, they do have a receiver who's coming on, Jonathan Mingo, no relation to Gene, who's been playing better the last few weeks.
Set you up for that one.
I set myself up for that. I've been waiting for that one all goddamn day. You kidding
all right,
me?
now we can move on from the Panthers. That's all I wanted to make sure. I wanted to get Gene Mingo in there. That was it.
And last thing on the Panthers, did you guys see that Tepper was trending on Twitter? Dan Snyder was trending on Twitter the last couple of days because everyone was comparing him to Tepper.
That is not out of the realm of possibility.
I think the NFL is better when they have a bad owner.
Well,
they have a couple.
That's a questionable thing. Is Tepper really? I mean, he's not great, obviously, but there's like the Spanos family.
I was going to say, look at the AFC West. That's not the Broncos or Chiefs, and you'll see some bad ownership groups there.
The Davis family. Who's the assholes in Chicago that don't know what they're doing ever?
They're still better than their trash hockey team.
but it's not saying much this season.
But anyways, it's more entertaining when there's bad ownership, but it's
yeah, there's a lot of bad owners in this league right now, and Tepper's probably top 5, but
he doesn't have the fucking 40 years of being horrible like the
that's true.
Spanos family does.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that much. All right, moving on.
40 years of Chargers being Chargers, you know. Yeah. Shit.
As long as they keep charging, I'm good with it. Fuck those guys.
Keep the Spanos in power, man.
Right. The injury bug. I wish I shouldn't say injury bug. Looks like the Vikings have designated Justin Jefferson to return, so he's in his 21-day window. Tank, is this too little, too late?
Oh, I mean, obviously, and I mean, in our league that we're all together in, I think I'm 1-8 or something like that. It's awful. So yeah, too late there, and then the other one, it's not looking good either. At this point, I have too many injuries, and that
Nobody cares about your fantasy.
They care a lot. That's okay. We're number 1. They care.
That's 7 people out there care.
Yeah. and Minnesota, unfortunately, like, you might get a little bump, but I think they're in such a bad place on that team right now that I don't see anything positive coming out of it for the end of this season.
Well, who's going to throw him the ball? Because they did not commit to Dobbs.
Well, and that's the thing. That makes you wonder what happened with Dobbs, which he threw 4 picks. 2 of those were his fault. I'd say 2 of them weren't, but that does make you kind of wonder if they're going to give him a shot to run the offense with, the best receiver on the team finally. But I don't think it's going to matter, I guess.
Who cares? It's the Vikings. They're not going anywhere.
He's arguably the best receiver in the league when he's healthy.
That's true, but he's only one guy on the field.
Mark, is it too late? I know you just said who cares. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Moving on.
They're not gonna make the playoffs. It's fine.
And in other injury news, the New York Jets have opened the return to play window for one Aaron Rodgers. And if you are part of our Facebook group, you'll see we put up a completely non-scientific poll about Aaron Rodgers and returning to play. Should he? Will he? Won't he? Shouldn't he? Or is he an annoying twat waffle? And the winner so far is he shouldn't, but he will, followed closely by he's an annoying twat waffle. Mark?
I disagree with the general public on this one. I don't think he will. They're not in a position where they can make the playoffs. And so he doesn't have anything to gain from going out there and possibly getting hurt again. So he may be practicing and doing all that stuff. And he'd be crazy to get back out there, in my opinion, just because what the fuck for? What the fuck for? The Jets aren't doing anything this year. Even if he comes back for 3 weeks, they're not going to win. They're not going to go to the playoffs with that team. They're just not going to.
Agreed. Tank?
Yeah, I have to agree at this point. I don't. If they're somehow miraculously close to making the playoffs, he might show up, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
He'll handpick his next head coach next year for that team.
You think? You think they would get rid of Saleh?
I don't. This is not a conversation I wanted to get into. I was just trying to say something. Yeah. I absolutely think that they would get rid of Saleh just because Aaron Rodgers is like, okay, I got a guy. Fire Saleh, and I mean, they have Hackett.
Yeah, which is the reason that their offense is terrible. That and Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but that's his boy. That's his ghee butter butthole boy.
What did Breece Hall get? 8 carries this last game, something like that.
Yeah, he switched places with Bijan in the great running backs not getting any carries category.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's
and
bad.
instead had Boyle throw the ball like 40 fucking times for some reason.
Right.
And let's bring a guy off with a career interception record, that's pretty damn negative, and let's let him throw the ball 40 times instead of use our, really good running back.
Well, I, for one, am looking forward to Joe Flacco playing quarterback for the Browns. Saying that, let's move on to Pew Pick'em. Mark, take it away.
Pew pew pick 'em, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about last week's picks. How do you guys think we did?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
I say my picks and then forget them usually. So
Usually I kind of
Okay.
pay attention, but I drank all
Yeah.
weekend, so I got nothing.
You guys are the ones making the picks, so I very rarely look at it. But then I score my own sheet. So we beat everybody again.
that makes sense.
Yes. The Hitman continues.
For a total of 125 points
Oh shit!
out of a possible 136, right?
Wow.
So we missed 3 games, guys, and they were all sub 5 points each. So well done.
So wait a minute. Which games did we lose and were they ties?
Let's see. I've got the picture. I was getting ready to send the picture here in the group. So that, oops, I sent it to the wrong group. So now I'm going to send it to the one, and I'm going to just leave that there for no context. Sorry, Toaster. Okay, so now you guys have it. I heard it go off on Tank's screen. We missed the Packers game because that was the Lions. I only put 5 points on that one. I told my wife we did the whole, we rooted for Green Bay thing, but clearly we failed there. The Falcons was another one we lost. Michaela was the only one who picked the Birds on that one. And then the other one was the Rams and Cardinals. And Frank, you actually won a tie that time. Matt had the Rams, and Michaela's going to pick Redbirds. So,
Right.
Yeah, there you go. And then the Bears and Vikings, we
lost
just
the other ones.
missed that one because I
Yeah.
can't believe how bad the Vikings are.
Yeah,
So there you go, guys. There you
Nice
go.
job.
There's our
125
pick. So,
points.
hell yeah,
Are-
man.
are-
That's a
are
great
the
week.
people at Lakewood getting sick of us not giving away any appetizers yet?
I know my bosses aren't. They're enjoying the fact that we're not getting
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm enjoying the banter I'm getting from the guys when they come in and give me shit about it. And I'm just like, I don't make the picks. I'm just reading the shit off the sheet,
Right. You tell them
but-
they're dealing with the Tank and the Hitman, and they just have to get better.
Stop being shitty is what I keep saying. Anyways, it's the portion of the show where we pick the games for the next week. So I'm going to stand up because that's what I do for this. I usually stand up a lot more, but my legs hurt today. We've got 13 games for week 13. Some of these are awful. Some of them are very interesting. I was surprised by some of these lines, to say the least. Let's go ahead and start this one up, shall we, boys?
We shall.
Pew, pew, pick 'em. The first game, the Seattle Sea Chickens are going down to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Yeehaw! And in Jerry's world, the Cowboys are favored by 9. Frank, what do you think about this one?
I think the Cowboys beat their first team with a winning record this year. And the Seahawks are not good on offense. So, yeah, I think this is going to be bad.
Matt?
Yeah, agreed. Dallas looks really good. Seattle is treading the wrong way.
Okay, so we got Dallas on that one. Okay. All right, here's another fun one. This is actually the low boy for the total over under in points. I looked that up because the Monday night one was pretty low too. So I wanted to see what was the lowest one. We are talking about a game that's going on in New Jersey, where the Jets that we just spent a lot of time talking about how great they are welcoming in the Falcons from Atlanta. The Blackbirds come into New Jersey and are favored by 2.5 points on the road. The over under total for this one, guys, is 34 points.
That seems right.
That
So
seems
2.5
high.
points in freight of the Falcons on the
That seems
road.
high.
It does, doesn't it? Matt, what do you think?
God. Ritter's probably better, and they figured out Bijan. Give me the Birds.
Frank?
Yeah, if they keep feeding Bijan the ball, then yeah, it's the Falcons.
Okay, easy peasy. Next one on the docket is a one that I wish Michaela was here for because she could talk about her favorite and her least favorite. Her favorite being the Redbird Cardinals and the wee one Kyler Murray going on the road to Pittsburgh where they're taking on the Steelers, who are favored by 5.5 at home. I get it. The Cardinals are bad, but can the Steelers actually score 5.5 points? I don't know. Matt, what do you think?
The Steelers have finally figured out that without Matt Canada, they don't have to throw screen passes and can throw over the middle of the field. This is Steelers all the way.
Frank?
Just because the Cardinals don't really have a lot of talent, I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Okay. It's 3 for 3, boys. The next game on the docket is a head coachless Carolina Panthers team going down to Tampa to take on Baker and the Bucks. The Bucks are favored by 5.5. I'm going to save one of my favorite moments of my segment here for a minute because I want to hear what Tank has to say first.
I don't care about this game. The Buccaneers win because the Panthers got rid of half of their coaching staff.
Matt, do the thing.
Baker Mayfield is trash. Carolina gets the interim head coach bump. Go Cats.
Okay, so we have a tie here. We have our first tie. That's always a good thing when we have ties, guys. And Baker Mayfield is trash. That trend continues. So today, as far as tiebreakers, I'm going to break out the Magic 8 Ball. I don't know what the fuck this thing's going to say. I got this from Future Fantasy Delight, which I picked up at Meow Wolf. We'll talk about that in about 35 minutes or so. But you see the three-eyed lady, and she says... MMM3.
3. You have to ask her if one of us is right.
Okay, so let's try that.
Usually Magic 8 Balls are 8 yes or no questions.
All right, we'll go with the home team. So Frank, did Frank pick this game correctly? Oh, hell nah.
That seems about right.
All right, next game on the docket.
That's so good.
The faltering Detroit Lions are heading on the road down to the Bayou. And they're going to the Superdome where the New Orleans Saints are taking them in. And the Lions are favored by 4 in this one on the road. Matt, what do you think?
I can't not pick the Lions here. The Saints have not looked very good, even though the Lions have been bad too.
Frank?
Yeah, neither of these teams looked impressive last week, to be honest, but I think it's the Lions who get it.
I agree with you guys. Let's continue on. The next game is a trash heap of a trash pile of a garbage dump. Nashville, Tennessee is the hometown where the Titans are going to bring in the Indianapolis Colts. Holy fuck. Who cares about this one unless you're the Broncos and need the Colts to lose? Colts are on the road favored by 1 in this one. What was your question, Frank?
How the fuck is this a 1-point line?
I don't know, but tell me what you think of this one.
I think the Colts are going to win because the Titans are dog shit.
Matt?
Captain Mayonnaise is trash. Zach Moss runs for days.
You want to see my brother cringe? I'm going to do it again. Eating a banana with a peel on.
So goddamn gross.
Mayo Man versus the mustache. I'm going to go with the stash.
Yeah, we're going with the stash. The power of the porn stash rules.
All right. So we're going with all right, we're going with that one. Speaking of dogpile, let's talk about the San Diego, San Francisco, San Bernardino, San Luis Obispo, Bakersfield Chargers are going on the road to New England, and they're taking on the Patriots.
Half of those cities are in Northern California. I mean,
I don't care.
Okay.
I was going with the whole Zorro the Gay Blade,
claiming the whole coast.
all the Alcaldes from Zorro the Gay Blade. Bakersfield. Anyways, so the Chargers are on the road and they're up by 6 in this one so far. While I got you laughing, Matt, go ahead and tell me about this one.
Who are they playing again?
Patriots and Chargers.
Oh God!
The
Is there a
Patriots.
way that the Chargers can charge this game? I don't think so. Mac Jones is trash.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Frank?
The Patriots can't pick a starting quarterback apparently, so let's go Chargers on this one.
Yeah. Stealing a line from our younger sister, who seems to be saying this almost every day, at least 3 times a day. Tell me that Bill Belichick is done being a Patriots head coach without telling me that Bill Belichick is done being a Patriots head coach. They change quarterbacks intermittently as much as they want. Next game,
They haven't brought Brian Hoyer into quarterback again.
it's going to happen probably. Although he's on a roster somewhere.
Yeah, he's in the Raiders. He's
He's
Raiders.
still playing. Yeah, he's still with the Raiders. Anyways, another game that's not going to be a whole lot of fun. We're talking about the Miami Dolphins are up by 9.5 points. And where are they going, guys? They're going to Washington, where the Commanders are at home taking on the Dolphins, who are favored by 9.5 on the road in Washington. Matt, what do you think about this one?
Sam Howell is the most sacked quarterback in the league, and it only gets worse. Dolphins, and they cover.
Okay, Frank?
Yeah, I don't see how they're going to slow that offense down at all. Miami runs on them all day long.
I'm going to save this next game on the docket till the very end because, it's the one we're talking about the most because that's the one that's in home or our own backyard, kind of. Not really. It's our backyard players at a different place. Anyways, next game on the docket is those worthless Cleveland Browns going to not St. Louis, but actually Los Angeles, where the Rams have decided to make their home with Stan Kroenke. And the Rams are at home favored by 3.5 points in this one against the Browns. Frank, what do you think?
I think after this last weekend, the Browns are a little too beat up, and I actually got the Rams on this.
Matt?
Was trying to come up with a way for the Hall of Fame haircut to win this game, but I don't think they can. This is the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And Joe Flacco's probably going to be playing quarterback.
That's the Hall of Fame. That's the Hall of Fame
Probably
haircut.
not going to be PJ Walker, so yeah.
No. Definitely won't be DTR.
The next game on the docket, I'm going to sneak this one in while the wife is getting ready for the next podcast. The Chiefs are leaving Arrowhead to take on the Green Bay Packers, where my wife's team takes on her mother's team. The Chiefs are on the road, favored by 6 points. Guys, I'm going to start with Matt on this one. Go ahead.
The Chiefs, but they don't cover.
Frank?
See, I was actually going to say the same thing. I think this game is going to be closer than it looks, but the Chiefs pull it out.
My wife has been saying about the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love that he is a third quarter quarterback this whole year. And in the third quarter of the season, Jordan Love looks like a pretty decent quarterback, right?
He looks like he's finally learned something.
Yeah. So I'm with you guys. I think the Chiefs win, but not by a touchdown. Next game on the docket, we're just going to skip to Monday night because I want to go backwards on this one. Get this one over with. The Bengals are going on the road to Jacksonville, where they're taking on the Jaguars. And the Kitties are at home, favored by 8.5 in this one on Monday night, guys. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, no Joe Burrow. The Cincinnati season is over. Jacksonville wins.
Do they cover the 8.5?
Probably, actually.
Matt?
3 weeks ago, this was the game of the year. Now it sucks. Cats by 10 plus.
Cool. I'm with you guys on that one. Let's go to the
Wait, you
possible
just said
game.
Cats by 10 plus. This is the Bengals and the Jaguars.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
They're both meow meow, sir.
Yeah,
can you
sorry.
specify which pussy you'd like to pick here?
Duval.
Okay, thank you. Next game is probably the game of the week. It is an NFC showdown where the San Francisco 49ers have resurged and are going to the Eagles territory in Philly. And interesting to note, guys, as of this morning, the San Francisco 49ers are favored by 3 on the road. Frank, what do you think?
The Eagles are actually becoming the most hated team, apparently. And their fans love that, so I don't think it affects them, and Philly wins.
Matt?
Yeah, agreed. This is Philly.
Three on the road. That just seems like, a lot of people just hating on Philly, right?
That's what this is.
Bad early. That's just bad early regular people money.
Yeah. The sharp money hasn't come in yet. That number's going to come away.
Yeah, that's hate money for Philly. That's what that is.
Yep.
Also, before we get done with this segment, I'd like to remind everybody that these are coming from MGM, BetMGM. That's where we get them from, betmgm.com. That's where these lines are coming from, betmgm.com. Sponsor us. Last game on the docket, we are talking about the hometown boys, the Denver Broncos, and they're going on the road to Houston, where Houston likes to do things that the Broncos have done before, historically. Gary Kubiak and such. But anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Sunday. And the Texans are at home and favored by 3.5 against our Broncos. I'm not going to set the timer for this one, guys. Frank, what do you think?
I think the home field advantage on this one is just kind of in spite of the Broncos, to be honest. I think this defense is too good, and CJ's going to have a rough go.
So you got the Broncos?
Yeah.
And Matt?
Yeah, agreed. The Denver defense has, ever since the Miami game, turned itself around and is every bit as good as what we saw in 2016. I won't give you 2015, but 2016's defense was very, very good. There's no way that the Houston can win this game, I don't think. And Broncos by 7.
Early dipshit of the week candidate is getting pumped into our chat. And that was Pew Pew Pick'em, guys.
What?
Oh, by the way, the game on Monday is Bengals and Jaguars. Jaguars by 8.5. The over under is 38.5. 38 on this game.
That's funny.
That's bad. That's bad. That's our other brother-in-law.
What the fuck am I looking at?
All of his.
What the fuck am I looking at here?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on, except for the fact that the man who cannot have sleeves has no sleeves, and the man who loves headlamps is wearing a headlamp.
hold on. What does the shirt say?
Oh, that's a good question. This is great.
I flexed, and the sleeves came off.
Do you know where that shirt came from?
No.
No.
Oh, really?
My wife gave. Oh, yeah, that was a Christmas present from us a couple of years ago. I think wasn't last year, the year
Was
before,
that the
right?
flexed in my sleeve? No, that was last year.
That was last year's shirt. Okay, yeah, that
the
was
year
definitely.
before. It was the light up gloves.
Oh, and my wife is taking on Mac in the McPherson Family League, and that's for first place in the league. I don't know if you saw that, but my wife, who has not been paying attention, except for she has been paying really good attention, but didn't notice the standings, is tied for first in the McPherson League with her father, and they are on a showdown this week for first place for the league. Big week for us in the Nobody Cares About Your Fantasy Football League. Back to you, Matt.
I would like to point out, since we're talking about fantasy, that you both, Mark and Bobby, have been eliminated from playoff contention.
Oh, I eliminated myself like 3 weeks ago, bro. I couldn't figure this season out. I'd have 1 week where I score 190 points, and then I have another week where I score 70. Right. It's too hard for me to do it with these players.
Right.
I welcome the consolation bracket at this point.
The Poffle boys, Matthew and Michael, are 1 and 2 and have clinched. Everyone else is in the middle.
Sarah's right behind there.
Yeah,
there's like Sarah, Amanda, and Michelle. I think are the next group.
It's Sarah, Nana, Michelle, all at 8 and 4. Then I'm at 7 and 5, and Amanda's 6 and 6.
Oh yeah, that's right. You leapfrogged Amanda because you guys played this.
Yeah,
week.
and I beat her.
And
I'm playing Michael this week, number 2. We'll see.
Yeah, then that could be fun.
That could be.
There you go. Now, not only did you guys get Pew Pew Pick'em, and so then you can gamble and not gamble with any of our picks responsibly.
Don't go with us.
Do it. Yeah. Although we've been doing pretty well.
Let's put it this way: don't go with us unless appetizers are on the line. In which case, you won't be giving out any appetizers if you take our picks.
You fell into one of the classic blunders.
Never go in against a goon when appetizers are on the line.
That's all I got.
All right, good job, Pew Pick'em. Well, that's it for the scramble. Let's kick it around the horn for final thoughts. Pimp the things. Talk about the stuff. Tank, go ahead.
Yeah, you can find us here every week, on either the Idiot Scramble or My Brother's an Idiot. They're both the same show, just different weeks. You can find us on NTK in about 10 minutes. And you can find all my stuff at Knox Nostalgia Collectibles or Tank Knox on all the socials.
All my stuffage is all online.
Mark?
Sorry, that's it. Yeah, can't wait to talk in the next cast about other stuff, including Meow Wolf and other things.
Well, you heard the boys say it. We are going to unplug here and go right into Nerds That Know in about 10 minutes. So stick around if you're watching us on Twitch or Facebook or wherever else you might be watching us. If you're listening to us and you're one of our 7 number 1 listeners, we thank you very much.
We love you.
Make sure you catch up on all of our social channels. You can find My Brother's an Idiot on Facebook. Just search that, look for the black logo. We'll get you in. Mark's Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. We're all at Poffle Time. My Brother's an Idiot can be found on Twitch and Twitter at the Idiot Goons. The Idiot Goons Twitter is getting a little bit more active, which is a lot of fun. You can find my Twitch and Twitter at Puffalopagus, and my TikTok is at King Goon Smoke. For the absent and hard-working MJ, we miss you, MJ.
We miss you, MJ.
For the absent Muty, we love you, Muty.
Muty.
For Tank and Mark, this has been My Brother's an Idiot, the Scramble edition. We'll catch you next time. See ya, bruh.
Bruh. Bruh.
Bruh.
Bruh.